Okay, I guess we started then.
All right, just go.
I guess that. Hello, internet.
Dale, you blew it. Go on.
That's all my fault.
This technology is awful.
It is. You figure that this is what our third time we be competent, total professionals.
Were you?
I was gonna say compensant.
Competent.
Compensate. I don't know. That word was like stuck in my head. And I was like, that doesn't sound right. And then I just stopped halfway through, and then I couldn't revert back to competent. And welcome to Outrage Factory.
Explaining it. This is our best cold open there. Hey, internet. Welcome to episode 118 of Outrage Factory, the podcast / live stream where we look at the things that made you mad online this week and explain why you're dumb for caring. Coming to you live from our separate apartments. I am your co-host, Derek Bolin.
I'm your other co-host, Dale DeRuiter.
Dale.
Yeah.
How's this global pandemic treating you so far?
I have a cheat code because I'm still going to work, so my life still feels pretty normal. But I think things are fucking heating up with all those fucking protests down south. Like,
yeah, so
we're dumbest shit I've ever seen.
We're gonna get to that because that's definitely a leading indicator of outrage this week.
Oh, and also I got to rip on Sweden for a bit. That's gonna come up too, because fuck Sweden, fuck everybody who says be like Sweden. Yeah, I said it.
Got some strong feelings there.
Fucking Volvo making motherfuckers.
I
don't know. I like to just spew outrage against countries that it's not racist to spew against. It's not racist. I mean, it can't be, right? I thought, no, because the internet says you can't be racist against white people, so I'm fine.
Did the internet say that?
I don't know. I like to just... Yeah, I think the internet did say that. Oh my God, sorry. I just got to mute the fucking live stream. Okay, I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. Sorry. The video that's supposed to be streaming live, which is like 30 seconds behind on my computer, just started making noise.
You get to hear your own dumbass reactions to things in almost real time.
Nothing throws you off like hearing yourself scream about something. You're like, didn't I just say that?
Yeah.
And I actually did just say that.
So yeah, how is the pandemic treating you, Dale? You still get to go to work where
I feel guilty because I'm like, this pandemic's not that much because I found a grocery store. This is just going to make me sound like a dickhead, but I found a grocery store where I don't have to line up to go into.
This is going to be the thing that makes you sound like a dickhead.
This is what everybody hates me. So I found a grocery store that I can just walk into, buy stuff, and leave. I don't have to line up outside. I don't know why there's no lineup at this particular Save On. Maybe Save On in general aren't doing the lineups. And I'm also still going to work. And it turns out that not having anything open is a very good excuse to not do anything. Like, the one thing I'm sad is now that they've closed provincial parks, that's kind of put a damper on it because honestly, like if I couldn't go out into the woods and like be a hippie, like have that hippie string inside me, get like all the nature vibes, I'd probably be a lot worse.
Explain what a hippie string is for our viewers at home.
Well, apparently I have my girlfriend's a hippie.
Hippie string act?
But I have like a hippie streak inside of me where I like to do some hippie things. Like Andrew's got me doing Qigong now that we do, now that we're on the pandemic and everything's closed and I can't go to the gym. So I do that. And I don't really believe in the chi energy, but it's kind of like, well, I'll just do it. And then if I get like magical chi superpowers, then fuck yeah. And if nothing happens, well, I wasn't expecting anything to happen anyway.
How are your chakras doing? They aligned?
I don't like to use the word chakra because like everything that's been used as an insult, because over saying it, you just make up another thing to say until people use that as an insult. But I like to call it energy vortexes because it doesn't sound as hippie-ish and it makes it
sound cooler.
Yeah, it sounds like magic and sci-fi. It sounds way better.
Too bad you're not a fucking golfer, because if you golfed, you would still be permitted to go out in nature in Vancouver, but you would.
Yeah, did they sneak that under the wire? Because I never knew golf courses were open. And then we're driving back from the aforementioned forest that I was in this weekend. And Andrea was like, there's people on that golf course. And I was like, what? Really? She's like, yeah, huh. I didn't know golf courses were open. And then she looked it up and she's like, weird. Golf courses are open. And I'm like, why are golf courses open?
It's,
I mean, like, it makes sense because of all the sport activities you can do, it's kind of the easiest to stay away from each other.
I wouldn't call golf a sport. For start, it's more of a game. If you don't break a sweat doing it, it's not a fucking sport.
Wait, you don't sweat golfing?
What?
No, neither do I. It's totally easy. I don't get out of breath swinging a golf club at all.
We're carrying 2 or 3 of them around the pitch and putt, which is the only golf we really do.
Wait, if doing stuff that makes you sweat makes that a sport, then I'm a pretty avid athlete.
I'm a competitive eater now.
Yeah, I'm a competitive stair climber.
That was some news. Vancouver released the city of Vancouver released a memo saying that golf courses are still permitted to operate because they're big fucking plots of land that you are able to socially distance from each other on.
Yeah. And they're like, but the clubhouses are closed. And you're like, that's not what matters. But what was I going to ask? Yeah, did they just release that memo?
Yeah, I think it was a few. But they also said that, like, they did not recommend that playgrounds or parks be closed. All that shit is closed because you can't charge someone admission to get into a playground. I mean, you could. There's a couple businesses in town that have done exactly that.
They have a playground? What?
Well, they're just like indoor. It's like fucking. You've probably come to some of Noah's birthday parties at some of them.
Oh, I thought you meant there's businesses that opened now after the closures of the public playgrounds.
No, but business idea for you. Let's find some creepy ass like warehouse in an industrial area
and put kids inside of it.
Like, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
I mean,
You're like, I got this idea. It involves a creepy warehouse, and I'm like, I'm already in. You don't even have to tell me the rest of this story.
Wait, I didn't warehouse. Get the part. We lure children to it and make them give us money.
I mean, money to lure children? It's like Christmas and Halloween on the same day.
They say
it's creepy and you get stuff.
Do what you love.
Ooh, we're gonna have to tiptoe around this. What are we gonna call it? Ice cream.
Anyway, but
look at this. Sorry to interrupt the story.
Good time to throw the brand in there, Dale. It's like, are we talking about children?
I just wanted to point out my mug because we talked about Outrage Factory mugs like the last 2 episodes. I was like, oh yeah, I have one of those, and I didn't think ahead enough to actually drink out of it on the podcast. So I have it, but I also still have my account mug that everybody loves that nobody's ever mentioned besides me, but I still have that. So
one of a kind.
If you want one of these mugs, send me a message on Facebook.
Call it Outrage Factory. Steal our logo. That's the only way you're getting one of those fucking mugs is by hosting your own podcast.
Or I will send you one if you send me a message. If the place that prints them is still open, I don't know if it is. Is marketing materials and swag essential?
Essential items, yeah. Everyone, because there's so many podcasts now, every white dude in the universe is like, well, I'm fucking trapped at home. Better start a podcast.
I mean, if you want to listen to people talk blowhardedly about shit they barely know anything about, you got to go with white people.
Yeah. And you got to go with these 2 white people specifically. Yeah. Because who does it better than us?
We're ahead of the blowhard curve because we've been doing this for, has it been 3 years now?
Yeah. I don't know. I think we just recently missed an anniversary.
Yeah, in February. Yeah. There was something else going on that we didn't think about it. You know, just like all those
distracted us, like being forcibly confined to our homes.
We must have felt exactly like all those skids who missed out on 420.
So, So you want to talk? This was actually the best 420 in like recent memory because we didn't have to deal with the endless bickering between the 420 event planners and the city of Vancouver. And we didn't have to deal with a bunch of stone dipshits just like wandering around. Or even a lot of people, I didn't see too many people talking about weed because everyone's still talking about this goddamn fucking virus that is ruining our lives.
If we heard anything, it was end the lockdown so I can smoke weed. Because all of the arguments to end the lockdown were that stupid and dumb.
There weren't that many because like I think potheads were actually grateful for the opportunity to just stay home. Like you were not being forced to go out. You could hang out on your own couch and smoke yourself into oblivion.
And maybe they finally realized that they don't have to have a protest for weed because it's legal now, so they can
what are you protesting?
Smoke it wherever you want.
It's like St. Patrick's Day is a protest of alcohol.
And prohibition. That. We want alcohol now, and it's been like 70 years that you can have alcohol. But yeah, best 420 ever.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even have to bring up that it's Hitler's birthday to ruin any skid's fun. People be like, yeah, weed. You'd be like, it's Hitler's birthday and you're kind of celebrating something awful. And then they're like, but now just let it fly by. And now it was just another Monday. Oh, I forgot to ask you, how's your pandemic going?
Pretty hellish.
Have you gone into the office at all since it started? Because you're working from home, right?
Yeah, we got sent home. Like even before everything went to shit, we got sent home. So we have been home for 36 days, so over a month, but about 5 weeks now. No, 6 weeks. No, 7 weeks. It really doesn't fucking matter. It's just like every day I choose from one of my 3 pairs of sweatpants and I'm like, which one am I going to wear today? Life has become very like Groundhog Day-esque. I luckily have Noah, so his mom and I alternate custody every other week. So 1 week I will have Noah here and I will be responsible for educating a child. And then the other week I can actually get shit done. Nice. So it kind of helps to break things up. But other than that, I fucking hate it. I miss people. I have had to take a big step back from, even in the early days of this shit, you and I were both obsessively monitoring the virus numbers in different countries. And we would text each other updates and be like,
oh yeah,
what's going on in fucking Morocco? We do not do that anymore. I think I maybe check once a day at the end of the day. But at this point, I'm like, it doesn't really fucking matter anymore because regardless of how the virus numbers go, we're all fucking locked down for the foreseeable future.
Yeah. Well, I still kind of check. Well, I've been checking more lately because everybody's like I said before, fuck Sweden. I've been looking at Sweden's numbers because at one of those tests in the States, someone was like, be more like Sweden. And then people keep using Sweden as hey, they already beat it. They're done. So we should end our lockdown because they never had a full lockdown. So let's do that.
Do you want to go into it? Do you want to go into Sweden?
Yes. Let's do this thing where I actually did a little bit of research.
Oh, fucking goddamn jail.
I did some fucking math. You guys are all going to be fucking pumped. I know how everybody likes math. So.
Wait. Before we get into the Sweden thing, I would like to say that IKEA, probably foreseeing the ruin that was about to befall their company because Sweden didn't shut shit down and everyone's going to die from coronavirus. IKEA recently released their recipe for meatballs. So
what? Sweet. Those are actually good meatballs. And okay, so you're gonna have to bear with me because if you've listened to this podcast before in the past, you know how bad I am at reading stuff out loud. So anyways, everybody's talking about how Sweden beat the curve because they didn't what they did was they didn't close everything down. They left restaurants open but they they kind of tried to sequester like the people who were more at risk, like nursing homes and stuff.
Well, they did. So they did the same shit that the UK did and the Netherlands did in the early days, and that was they were like, we're not going to shut everything down. If you're old or you have diabetes or you're at risk, stay the fuck home. That's your responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else, just keep living your lives.
Yeah, and then that turned out to not be the best idea because we didn't know what coronavirus was back then, and then a whole bunch of fucking people died. So in Sweden, the population is only 10 million. So Sweden is a third the size of Canada population-wise, and it's like, and Canada's a tenth the size of the US, so it's like a 30th of the states. Does that math work? Anyway, so I busted down the numbers with the world, Sweden, Canada, and US, because that's who cares about all the other stuff. And by doing 4 sets of math, it was more than enough for me.
Find me one more country that's also full of white people. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, it's funny because all the countries that are full of white people are getting completely fucked right now. Like Italy, Sweden, aforementioned, Netherlands, like you said, the UK, Spain, which I don't know. Was Spain white people or are they like Spanish? Hispanic? No. All right, we'll just pretend that didn't happen.
How do I live edit a podcast?
Maybe we should stop doing this live.
You think?
Okay, so Sweden has, I'm only going off completed numbers because a lot of times when I bring up the death toll percentage and I say it's only of closed cases, like if you've recovered or if you died, people have a problem with that. They're like, you should count the people who are still active because I don't know why. Because you can't have the people who are still active because some of those people could die or they could live, so you don't know what side of the percentage those numbers are going on. And I also have to give a disclaimer because I checked today and Sweden's numbers are kind of fucked up because they haven't had any recoveries since April 16th. So they're still at 550 people have recovered from the virus. Only 550, a dramatically low number. But I feel like there's probably more. They just haven't reported it. I can only go off the numbers that we have access to. And I go off world leaders if you want to follow at home or if you're already doing out, whatever. So Sweden has 550 recoveries and 1,765 deaths. That means of the closed cases, 76% of the people have died. So if you took, and that turns into 175 deaths per million of population. So the 175 is the number I compared everything else to. So
and that's the number that everyone should be looking, because that's the yardstick that you can measure all countries equally against is number of cases per million and number of deaths per million. And levels the playing field.
Yeah, and I just went deaths per million because that's the most dramatic number. So like I said, Sweden is 175 deaths per million, and we'll go with the world because that's the lowest of the 4 numbers I did. And they're only at 22.8 deaths per million. So right now, the world has 177,619 deaths, 690,393 recoveries. So they're only sitting at a 20% death rate. But if they had the same deaths per million that Sweden does, there would be 1,361,325 people dead around the globe right now. So if you're saying be like Sweden, it would be a lot fucking worse. And Canada is sitting at 49 deaths per million. And that turns into Canada only has 1,834 deaths, which is actually pretty close to Sweden's number of 1,765. But the difference is Canada has 13,108 recoveries, and Sweden only has the aforementioned 550. So if you took Sweden's death per million of 175 and computed it to Canada's population, you would end up with 6,597 deaths. So that's a difference of like just under 5,000. So everybody who's saying end the lockdown so we could be like Sweden, you would have to have like, even if we followed Sweden right now in Canada, 5,000 more people would be dead.
Well, and everyone posted this shit a week ago, and I was like, no. I was like, give it a week, and Sweden's gonna like have to lock the country down because, you know, you look at the UK did the same thing, Netherlands did the same thing. It's like a virus does not give a shit.
Yeah.
If you're like it just doesn't. A virus isn't going to care if you're doing this and like leaving the economy open. It's going to do what a virus does, and it's going to travel between people. And Sweden was literally they had one job, and that was to keep the most vulnerable people protected. And by any measure, they fucking failed at that because people were just going about their lives. And their death rate is crazy high right now. So
yeah, and the problem was like what people found out because of Sweden pretty much is that healthy people can die from this virus too, because it's starting to look like it acts like a cumulative effect. So if you get the coronavirus and then separate yourself, you'll get over it. But if you get the coronavirus and you're around more exposure to people who still have the virus, then your symptoms get way worse and it's way harder on your organs. And then you like your fatality rate shoots up, even if you're young and healthy. Like the problem was everybody was like, oh, young people this is just like the flu to them. It doesn't matter. And then people just started fucking dying over in Europe and they're like, oh, fuck. So they had to rethink it, like you said. And now they had to fucking change their tactics midway.
Well, yeah, like people still really have no fucking idea what causes some people to get like nothing from this virus or stay asymptomatic. It's like they think that underlying health conditions and age, okay, fine. Like if you're really fucking old or you're really fucking sick, this thing's probably going to kill you. They're saying viral load could affect it. So if you just get more of the virus into your system versus a small amount, that can impact it. They're saying blood type can impact it. They're saying, and then other times they're just saying it's completely random and you could have two people with the exact same genetics, same blood type, same anything side by side. And one of them is going to get a slight flu and one of them is going to get, intubated at a hospital. So I can definitely see why countries are erring on the side of like, oh, this thing could potentially kill everyone. Let's just like keep everyone the fuck home until we figure this out.
Yeah.
Is it real? What's everyone talking
about?
Yeah,
it's fucking real, guys. It's real as real could get. And
it's really real.
Oh, and the worst thing was like before, like when this all started, they're like, oh, it's a respiratory disease. It goes into your lungs. And then they're like, oh, actually, it kind of affects your heart too. And they're like, oh, yeah, also your fucking kidneys, your bowels, your fucking nerve endings. So they're like, it pretty much attacks every organ you have. You're just fucked. So, it's even worse. If you get coronavirus and you get healthy after it, it could fuck up your organs. So you can end up having like lung problems, people losing their senses of smell and taste. You can end up with fucking heart problems because it attacked your heart. Shit. I don't know the science of that. Maybe the wall of your heart gets thinner. That's as far as I'm going to go.
Well, they don't really know this virus has only been around for like, 3 or 4 months at this point. So they don't know the long-term health effects. Like maybe people who contracted this virus and got over it and only experienced relatively mild symptoms will all drop dead of a heart attack at age like 55. Like we have no fucking idea the strain this puts on your body and what that could mean in terms of long-term impact. So
yeah. Well, plus they're saying now they're like every day they're like, oh, there's like more strains of it. Like I saw today, like a couple days ago, there was like 8 strains and you can go on, what is it? There's some place on I can't remember the website, but you can go look. It's like where everybody's sending their information, like doctors and stuff. So you can look at what they know about it, and they're showing the how the 8 strains were moving around the world, and today there's 30 strains. So sorry, I don't know if it's 30 or 8. And then, and then people are like, oh, open up the economy so we can just fucking go back to work.
Yeah, do we want to talk about that? Shit, it blows my fucking mind that in the United States, which is like just a absolute shit show right now. I guess it doesn't actually blow my mind because Americans are gonna American, and we saw a lot of protests breaking out this month where people were saying reopen the economy, stop keeping us in our homes. Some were saying it was a very broad range of people. It was some saying, you know, I'm just sick of fucking being at home and I want to get back to work. It was some people saying try the Sweden approach. It was some people saying coronavirus is a myth perpetuated by the liberal media. It was some people saying coronavirus was created in a Chinese lab and sprayed over us from fucking chemtrails. It was just like every kind of COVID-19 truther is basically descending on state governments in the US, demanding they reopen the economy and putting... I mean, that shit I kind of get because we're all going a little fucking crazy right now, being cooped up in our homes for a month. Like, I don't think humans were meant to live like this ever.
No.
And I think for people who are stuck at home and all they're consuming is a steady diet of like Alex Jones and right-wing news.
You can't even consume Alex Jones anymore.
No,
he's scrubbed off the internet, isn't he?
Out there. No, he has a website. He still puts out videos.
I thought his hosting even dropped him. Sorry to derail you.
There'll always be other hosts, but
we could just say Alex Jones as not the Alex Jones person, but just like crazy conspiracy, like right-wing conspiracy theorists who blame everything on the liberal media.
Yeah, like any stand-in for Alex Jones or people who talk like Alex Jones or think like Alex Jones. But who legitimately, I still feel like Alex Jones is just like this persona who exists to like shill shit to dumb people.
He's just like the physical manifestation of the right wingers' stupidity. Pretty much. That mixed with alcohol.
It's not even right-wingers. Like, there's right-wingers out there who, like, just, like, love guns and small government and hate taxes. And, like, fine, fuck, whatever. That is totally acceptable at this point. And then there's, like, right-wingers who just, like, deny reality exists and exist to trigger liberals and would love to see, like, a civil war against the left in the United States. So, it's all these liberty-loving dipshits that are like descending on state capitals for protests to reopen the economy. And that's all fine and well. I can deal with that. Like, sure, lash out at the government. That's what they're there for. But the things that really pissed me off this week was when you saw, doctors and nurses in uniform, like standing to like block these dipshits from having any impact with their protests at all.
Oh yeah, that was fucking bonkers. Like that guy in Denver who was like standing in the crosswalk and it was like the perfect scenario of this whole thing. Like there's like, I mean, I don't want to base it down to like what they look like physically, but like if I wanted one of those people's lives, I'd want that pretty young, healthy looking nurse who was pretty muscular, as opposed to that giant white trash fat person who's driving the pickup truck and hanging out the window. Like if I had to pick between those two, you know which one I'm picking every day.
Yeah.
That was in Denver? Where else was that? Where they're like, it was like pretty much medical people versus fucking dipshits.
There was another one at the state capitol somewhere where it was like nurses standing in uniform, and people were just like shit talk. And these are people who like, you're not fucking doing anything. You're not having an impact. You're not saving lives. You're not helping people out. You are literally doing nothing except being a keyboard warrior and taking that to like real life in some fucking American flag t-shirt. Like you were doing fuck all. So I don't know how you feel like you have the right to shit talk people out there who are like they're basically like, do you remember the adoration for like firefighters and police officers after 9/11? Like,
Yeah.
imagine going up to a firefighter and telling them to fuck off because you don't believe that 9/11 was real. Is basically what the equivalent of this is, and it makes me like legitimately angry.
It should make everybody legitimately angry. Like, I saw that and I was like, holy fuck. Like, it makes me want to go to where they're protesting and then stand with the nurses. But then you're like, well, I can't because I can't be like close to them. So it's like, it's kind of like you can't even counter protest the protesters, because if you're going to counter protest people trying to end the lockdown, then you need to social distance, and you can't have an effective protest if you're like too far apart, because then you're not going to stop traffic because cars will just drive between you.
But it's like, okay, so we look at how that's playing out right now, and some governors are really starting to, reopen shit. Some are not so much. And the worst thing about this is that like Trump keeps undercutting health professionals' advice. So,
oh yeah, like, and how he's like kind of like egging on the idiots in the US, being like, oh, maybe you should talk to your governors about like opening up your shit. Like, it's crazy, because are we gonna see like a United States? Like, do they break the union and just be like, oh, if our fucking president is gonna go against the governors? Like, we see it up here in Canada where it's like the western provinces, like, we're like, oh, Trudeau doesn't know what we're talking about, but down in the States, it's just like, it's literally Trump versus each governor. And like, there was talk of fucking Washington, California, and Idaho, like, kind of conglomerating and trying to figure their shit out by themselves, as like the three of them teaming up or whatever. So could we see, wouldn't that be crazy if the states broke in like 5 different little countries?
They could. I don't think they will. I think what this is just Trump deflecting and saying, hey, if your state's economy remains fucked, which it will because of the virus, he's saying it's the governor's fault. Don't blame me. I will say the guy has a lot of like really shitty toxic qualities and is like objectively the worst president to have worst world leader probably to ever have existed.
Yeah.
But he's a fucking genius when it comes to just like deflecting responsibility for any of the shit he does. And I would legitimately not be surprised to see him get reelected, assuming the election happens this year, because he's just done a great job of like he shit the bed, and everyone should be talking about what a fucking horrific job Trump did at like preparing his country for this virus, and then even like acting like a human with a functioning brain after it hit. And he's failed on all counts, and everybody should be talking about that nonstop. And instead what they're talking about is the governors and these protests, and whether it came from China. Well, I mean, like, obviously it came from China, but like whether China is completely to blame because they misreported their numbers, and how the World Health Organization failed. And all of that shit is put there because Trump just keeps repeating it and repeating it. And if people attack him, he'll say, no, it's China's fault, or no, it's the World Health Organization's fault, or no, it's the governor's fault. And people basically start to believe that after a while. So Trump,
like, I'm only going to say one thing in defense of Trump was way back in, what was it, February, March, when he stopped travel. Everybody's like, Trump's a racist. Why would you stop travel already? Like, that's the only thing he did right. Everything else, like you said, he just fucking mishandled it completely and left everything open too long. And then I was gonna fucking interrupt you and say something, but I forgot. Oh yeah, and the whole thing of like, did this come out of a lab or did it come from an animal? And then the World Health Organization's like, oh, it came from an animal, and it's like, yeah, okay, that doesn't help anything right now. Oh, what I was gonna say is, fucking, what if Trump is so sick of being president? Like, I can imagine that he goes home and he's just like, oh, these fucking people, and just like out of breath and just beaten down. Like, I could see this as like some sort of like fucking comedic plot where he's just trying to fuck up so bad there's no way he gets reelected, and then he's like, fuck, okay, I'll just fuck this thing up a bit, I'll get people against their own governors, they'll never pick me, and then he sees the DNC is going to Joe Biden against him, he's like, oh, fuck, now I have to try even harder to fuck this up.
Yeah, now that's a guaranteed victory. Like I like that the DNC had like, you know, you have this crisis going on.
Yeah.
The economy is going to be fucked for the foreseeable future. People need socialism in the United States now more than ever.
Oh yeah.
And instead they pick the most establishment dipshit with his own like a guy who's very easily exploitable when it comes to like, you know, touching women and being kind of a weird, creepy old guy and like
smelling people.
Yeah, it's like, how do we pick a candidate that's more easily defeatable than Hillary was and less likable than Hillary was? Joe Biden, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean, I can't wait for like 3 months of that whole like, are we allowed to talk about how his health is failing? Like, remember when Hillary, they're like, oh, she's sick or whatever. And there was this whole battle like, no, she's not. And then it'd be like videos of her like fainting or whatever. Now there's just going to be super cuts of Biden just being like, talking like me on the podcast and not being able to finish his sentences because he has like the beginnings of dementia or whatever. I mean, maybe he's exactly like me and he just forgets what the word competent is. I mean, that's fine for me and this podcast, but to lead the fucking country, I mean, it'll still be better than Trump, but it's still not something you want in a president.
Arguable, yeah.
Yeah. Like, I guess we just got spoiled with Obama because that guy could fucking talk. Like, we went from Bush, who was like kind of not the best public speaker, and then we got Obama, and he was just like a fucking ninja of public speaking. And then you get to Trump, and who's just like atrocious and just like repeats himself. And then you're gonna go into Biden, and it's just like fuck.
I like how at the time Bush was widely regarded as like this fucking simp idiot who couldn't string two words together. And now that we've had Trump, we're just like, Bush, not the best public speaker, but you know, I've seen worse in the past 5 minutes when Trump opened his fucking mouth or sent a tweet and it was the dumbest thing I'd ever read.
Yeah, like that time. Remember that when he said his favorite book was some like kid's book, and everybody just wouldn't fucking stop hammering him on it. And now they're like, well, at least he read a book, even if it was a children's book.
He knew what a book was. These protests, and like, so here's the situation right now. Like, you look at what the experts are saying. And what basically everyone is saying. And it's like, this thing is not going away until we have a vaccine created. And a vaccine...
Yeah, that's pretty easy to say, yeah.
A vaccine is not going to be created and approved and like released to the public for 12 to 18 months. And that's a generous estimate. So... Yeah,
that's like if everything falls into line and they find one that works fairly soon. That's just going to be all the legal shit that like before they can get it out there.
Yeah, like all the testing to make sure it doesn't give everyone like instantaneous cancer and die. So 12 to 18 months, everyone is saying that there's going to be some form or some measure of social distancing in place. And we might be able to like reopen small parts of the economy for a bit. And then there's going to be an outbreak and we're going to have to lock shit down again. And we'll be doing that in like phases for the next 12 to 18 months, at which point hopefully life can fucking go back to normal. So you have all these people protesting to reopen the economy.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't know if they understand like what this actually is and how this is going to play out, because it's a fucking, the virus does not care. You cannot protest a fucking virus. The viruses do, and it's going to infect people spectacularly easy as long as it exists until there's a vaccine or until we reach herd immunity. So
yeah, that's just going to be like the equivalent of people have protest signs that just say, leave us alone. Like, we've had enough.
Yeah.
Should we talk about something not COVID?
Is there anything not COVID?
Oh, I got a good one.
All right, hit me with it.
what have we seen in the last while that's pretty dumb? And it's
Friends?
online, and it's mostly
Daylight.
kids.
Tide Pods.
Oh, you're close to Tide Pods. There's a new challenge out
Okay.
that people like I guess the kids are getting bored sitting inside their houses, so they decided to make a challenge, and it's called the Nutmeg Challenge. And guess what? Apparently, nutmeg is fatal if you eat enough of it.
Yeah, isn't it actually like couldn't you be able like you used to be able to get high off of it? I'm not saying you used to be. You can still get high off of it.
Oh, that's the challenge. Is people take like 2 to 4 tablespoons of nutmeg and they mix it with like water or milk, and then they drink it, and then they like go on TikTok. What? Yeah, just like mix that with the cinnamon challenge, so you like fucking almost choke to death, and then when you're done choking, you get high. So yeah, no, these kids it's like a TikTok thing, but the best part is the high lasts for up to 24 hours. So here, I'll just read to you what is.
Yeah, nutmeg contains myristicin, a natural compound that has mind-altering effects if ingested in large doses. The buzz can last 1 to 2 days and can be hallucinogenic, much like LSD.
Could you imagine being a fucking idiot kid and swallowing a couple tablespoons of fucking nutmeg, and then you trip balls for 2 full days? I mean, come to think of it.
We would have 100% done this.
Yeah, I was going to say, this doesn't sound that stupid, you know. I like the part where they're like, they also said you could get that, what was it, Mydicin? Mydicin? Mysticin? It's also in star anise. Or anise? Yeah.
Hey, yo.
Hey. I mean, if you don't want to eat nutmeg, you could get the like fucking black licorice flavored spice and try that.
Yeah, I got a black licorice flavored star anise for you.
So apparently these kids are doing it, and they're going on TikTok, and they're being like, "Oh, I'm so high right now, do." And then some of them died and ruined the fun for everybody else.
Yeah, idiot kids. Well, we used to do shit like there was like banana peels, or there was
Derek, we never did any of that stuff.
Oh yeah.
We are wholesome boys.
Didn't huff gas, that's for sure.
Who had friendship and hugs when we wanted to get high. Yeah, no, we would definitely like. What's the nutmeg myth around when we were that young? I remember like them talking about smoking nutmeg because there was that movie Idle Hands. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
And he was like trying to smoke. Yeah, he was trying to smoke nutmeg because he couldn't get any weed. And then like that was a big myth. They're like, oh, you could get high if you smoke enough of it, but I don't know.
I know if you would have told me between the ages of like 17 and 27 that something got you high, I probably would have tried.
I was expecting a lot younger than 27.
Anything in that range, I would have been like,
when I've been an adult for over 7 years, I would have still fucking
adult.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I'm still not an adult sometimes, but
So how many people have died from this challenge?
Oh, I don't know. They just say people have died. I don't know. It's like, it's so hard to find, like, if you're not looking at COVID stuff, it's so hard to find any information about anything.
It's crazy. We just had our fucking deadliest mass shooting in Canadian history on Sunday.
I went there too mentally because when I was going to say you can't find anything out, I was like, you can't find out what guns that guy used or his motives.
Why? Yeah, I'm more concerned. I don't care. I'm not like, oh, what guns did he use? I'm like, why did he randomly kill 19 people for no reason at all?
I'm more concerned about what guns he used because Trudeau's like, oh, remember that fucking gun bullshit I was going to bring in that you can't have assault rifles anymore, which I didn't even think. I thought you weren't allowed to have assault rifles in Canada anyway. But anyways, he's like, you're not allowed to have assault rifles anymore because this guy used guns to kill people. And you're like, well, what guns did he use that you want to ban? Because I'm going to bet a bunch of dollars that whatever guns this guy used, he had them illegally anyway. So some fucking ban's not going to do anything.
I don't know about that. This wasn't like, why are you assuming he had them illegally?
Because they said it's assault rifle like weapons. and you're not supposed to be able to have working assault rifles in Canada. You're only supposed to be able to get like collector's pieces or whatever. Like I don't know. Canada's gun rules already, like you can, the like most powerful gun you can get is like an SKS, which is only semi-automatic, and you can only have like 7 bullets in the clip.
Isn't it pronounced?
That's the sound it makes. Yeah, so like I don't know. Oh, the fucking
one of our commenters, Aaron, what up, Aaron, is saying he used a couple of hunting rifles, you goofs.
They never said that. Where did he find that out?
The news, apparently.
Oh, did they just say? They're like, oh, he just said, because up until I looked at it like a couple hours ago, they're like, we don't know. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm more curious about why he randomly did it. But our thoughts are with the people of the place where
oh fuck. Why can't I remember this?
Tragedy
Portapeak,
yeah.
But he also drove for 150 kilometers, so it started in Portapeak and ended up across the province.
I'm curious if we're gonna see, like, again, they haven't announced shit behind the motive for it or why this happened, but like
they don't know because they fucking killed them.
Like, yeah, but there's usually for shit like this, some dipshit leaves behind like a 40-page manifesto.
Oh yeah.
You go on the internet and you check his social media accounts and you find out that he was like retweeting Ben Shapiro a lot. Or
actually, I imagine, like, since he went through all the trouble of making a replica police cruiser and getting a uniform, he's got to have a manifesto laying around somewhere. They're probably just like, we don't want to release this right now because of all this pandemic shit, and people are like on the verge of going crazy anyway from being stuck inside. We don't want to throw any fucking fuel on that fire, so we're just gonna hold on to this
until life goes.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Is like, I wonder how many more. Like, I don't know if this was the guy was clearly unwell enough to like put a fuck ton of effort into making a replica police outfit and cop car.
Yeah.
But I wonder if like there are going to be dramatic mental health effects from like everyone being cooped up in their homes and isolated from other peoples for a year to a year and a half.
It's already happening, Derek.
But
I was going to say, I don't think it's going to be a year or two. I think what's going to happen is we're going to go for maybe another month, and then we're like, oh, let's fucking open shit up. And then we'll open it up for a couple months, and then we'll go back in because we'll be like, well, fuck, it was too soon. But I think they're going to have to, like, it already feels like there is a lot more people on the road to and from work today than there has been since this started. Like, I feel like there's a lot more people just going out and about.
Yeah, I feel like the more time passes, the more people are just like, well, it's working, so I can go out and I can do my shit. And I think maybe we can keep that up for like maybe another month tops before the dam just bursts and everyone's like, well, fuck it, we're done. We beat coronavirus. Let's go outside. Yeah,
like in Florida, apparently they already beat the coronavirus because they opened up the beaches.
I want to actually check how.
But I want to go back to this guy in Nova Scotia because Brittany said that he apparently collected and fixed cop cars. So maybe that's probably how he got a hold of one. But I know I was reading an article and they were saying how ACERT, which if you're not from Canada is basically Canada's version of internal affairs, is looking into 3 instances regarding this case. One, how the guy died because apparently they had him cornered and they might have used excessive force on him, which I'm definitely okay with. Another one was they're looking into how he got the uniform. Like, even if he was fixing the cars and then he got one, they don't know if the uniform was a replica or an actual uniform. So looking into that, and then they were looking into some other stuff. So it's pretty much crazy up in the air right now. Like, I mean, this is kind of like the Breivik thing in, what was that, Switzerland?
No, that was Norway.
Yeah, where because he
Or was it
like dressed up as like a police, or was it a police officer or army guy, and he went on a rampage. So it's kind of got hints of that, but they took Breivik alive, and then he was more than willing to share his motives on why he did it. So
that dude definitely had a fucking manifesto. So I'm
Yeah.
sure Aaron said in the comments that this was a domestic violence thing, which is actually how like a lot of these things start. Like,
Oh yeah.
like fucking kills his ex-wife or his family, and that just kind of the fucking dam breaks in his mind, and all of a sudden he figures if he's already killed one person, he might as well kill a bunch.
Yeah, they were saying that some of the people, like maybe the first ones that he killed, were targeted and premeditated, and then like you said, once that fucking door was open, he just went ape shit and like went on the run from cops, and then he like fucking somehow his car got, like the car he had, caught on fire, so he robbed a passerby of their fucking car, and it was like, apparently it was just fucking complete mayhem for 12 hours.
Cool.
Yeah. So yeah, I kind of just wanted to talk about that because we had talked, did we talk about the, because they kept saying that before the pandemic started, Trudeau was pretty much ready to table some legislation on the gun stuff. And I was wondering, I thought we talked about that on here, but we might not have. But anyways, so yeah, like there's not really any public outrage to talk about the murder. It's just something fucked up that happened, because I don't really see anybody arguing over that online, but it was
Something
just
fucked up that happened, and like, yeah, nobody really talked about it because it was just lost in the
I mean, the good news is it'll probably be like a fucking big stepping stone into getting tighter gun laws. And it's like, yeah, don't let people have assault rifles. Like, fuck off. They're like,
I don't even know if we need like fucking tighter gun laws in Canada though. Like,
yeah, I know, because ours are pretty tight. Yeah, and it's like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll have to look into it, especially now. Like, this would have been before the pandemic, before the like fucking gun buying rash of everybody freaking out and feeling like they need a gun, so they like bought them all out.
Yeah, that was something they saw in the States during the pandemic's early days, people lining up at gun stores. I don't know if it's still happening. Probably.
It happened here too. Like, guys I work with, because I'm in the fucking trades, apparently love guns. So they're like, oh man, you're good enough to get ammo. I'm like, I don't have a gun. They're like, why don't you have a gun? And I was like, why would I need a gun? We live in a city. And then they're like, yeah, but you got to like defend yourself and stuff. I'm like, it's against the law for people to touch me when I don't want them to touch me. There's pretty much, it can't get more straightforward than that. Like,
yeah, also, I don't know if you've noticed, but nobody wants to touch fucking anyone right now. Like, it's not like I'm gonna
valid
be like,
point.
maybe I have the virus, I'm going to give that guy the virus. It's that guy definitely has the virus. Stay the fuck away from me, man.
Yeah.
All right. We probably have time to talk about one more topic. You got a favorite from the list you put together here?
Oh, I got some. Oh, fuck. It's kind of like COVID, but did you see this fucking influencers wearing masks as bikinis?
No, I wanted to talk a bit about how fucking bizarre it is that like, because for a while I was big into like men's fashion, so I like started subscribing to
For a while. Yeah, you're still into big men's fashion, aren't you?
Dude, did you not hear my comment about the rotating 3 pairs of sweatpants I wear now? And nobody cares about fashion anymore. I care about comfort. I'm fucking here for it. But I subscribe to a lot of these like men's fashion brands and men's fashion blogs, and it's fucking surreal to see all of these like fashion houses like Frank and Oak or fuck, I don't even know. There's a few other ones, but they're all sending me emails marketing face masks now. Like that's what they're selling.
Oh, like designer face masks.
Yeah, that's going to be their big money maker. It's like these hipster fucking face masks versus, because nobody else is buying like other clothes. They just want the face masks and sweatpants.
Oh my God. Remember when we talked about the blackface face masks that Louis Vuitton made like however long ago? Or was that just a sweater that went up and it had the lips on it?
Which?
Remember we talked, I can't remember what episode it was, but we talked about, it was either Louis Vuitton or Givenchy or someone it was either a shirt or a face mask that you pulled up the collar up to here.
Oh, yeah.
And then it had like big red lips with like 2 buck teeth on it. I bet people would wear that right now.
That would be cool as fuck right now.
I mean, it would still be racist as hell and ignorant, but a lot of people would like to have that over nothing else.
Aaron said we're all going to be Mortal Kombat ninjas. And it's true. Everyone who has those, like, there's that one design of face mask that makes everyone look like fucking Scorpion and Sub-Zero. It's awesome.
Yeah. What I'm going to do right now is, I'm going to post one of the pictures of someone wearing a face mask bikini, so everybody knows what I'm talking about, because it's fucking ridiculous. So what happened was people like fitness models and shit on Instagram started posting pictures of, they basically took 3 face masks, put one on each breast, and then one over their hoochie, and they're like, look at my face mask, or my Coronatini, or whatever they were calling it. And then everybody flipped the fuck out. They're like, you can't fucking do that. Like, doctors and nurses can't get masks right now.
Were these like N95 masks?
Yeah, there's one picture of a chick like wearing N95 ones, and then a bunch of them are like fashion masks. But I posted the one of the N95 mask, and then you can go to like the Sun UK and go look at a bunch more if you want. But yeah.
The N95 masks, because I have one of those.
Yeah.
And I feel when I wear it out in public, I'm like surprised that people don't shame me for it, being like, what the fuck are you doing? Those are for healthcare workers.
Well, actually, if you want to know the truth, they only actually work for about 8 hours before the filters fill up, and then they don't work anymore. So if you've had your N95 mask if you've been wearing it for more than 8 hours, it's basically just a fabric mask at this point.
I don't think
no, probably not. But like, I have N95 masks, and it's because work was like, hey guys, take a mask. And those are the ones we have at work because they stop all the particulates from going into your lungs to give you cancer. And then I was like, well, like you said, like, I don't want to wear this because like medical staff can't get them. And I was like, maybe I should just go donate it. And they're like, wait, I can't just go fucking
just walk into a hospital.
Yeah, here's like, an open mask.
It's clean.
Yeah. But when I did go to the hospital before last podcast, because I had cut my leg and I had to go to emergency, I was wearing one of those masks, and nobody told me I was an idiot for wearing them. They just kind of ignored me.
Well, you were an idiot for a bunch of different reasons. Like,
yeah, they're like, oh, you cut yourself with a tool that is designed to have a guard on it, which you took off because you're an idiot. So we're just going to let that fly. Although maybe they weren't just like going to tell me something. Maybe they were curt and short with me, because I was pretty happy that the hospital was empty and nobody was making needless small talk, because I don't know. Hey, when you cut yourself, the last thing you want to do is small talk.
Yeah, especially during a fucking pandemic with fucking strength. For the episode image for this episode, can we both take pictures of ourselves with naked
quarantinis,
except for N95 masks over our dongs, and then
I don't know, I'm gonna have to buy a bigger mask.
The N96.
Yeah, more like the N109.
N6.5.
Yeah, no, we can definitely lose every single listener we have by taking pictures of us wearing nothing but an N95 mask over our dong. I mean, most of our listeners who are our friends saw our dicks like 20 years ago.
And consecutively, yeah.
And I want to, as sad as it sounds, now that I'm 40, I want them to remember gross naked young Dale instead of gross naked old Dale. Because as terrible as it was seeing me naked 20 years ago, it's got nothing but worse.
Your dick's only gotten worse. Yeah. Can't
Yeah,
confirm.
no. My dick is a nice shining beacon of pure light. It's just all the surrounding mass around my dick that has just fucking let go.
No, your dick is aged at twice the rate of the rest of you. Like it's like you look 40, but your dick looks 80 for some weird reason.
Wait, maybe that's why I feel so immature, because I feel like I'm 26 inside. My dick looks like it's 60. So all the age I should be and have wisdom just went straight to my penis. Oh, speaking of little boys, I wanted to tell a real life story that has nothing to do with anything.
That was a hell of a segue.
I just heard that. So remember that story I was telling you what happened at work today?
Yes.
So if you could kind of see, I don't know if you can see your lips, but I got punched in the face at work today by accident. But I'm going to fully admit, maybe even if it was only half by accident, I kind of deserved it.
When you told the story, it didn't sound like it was by accident. Even when you were like, I was like, by accident. And you were like, oh, I was irritating a guy and like this shit happened. And I was like, that's not an accident at all.
Yeah, but I irritate this guy pretty much every day. And he doesn't punch me in the face all the time. So what happened was I had a spray can because I just spray painted. And I was shaking it to, like thin out the paint. And then this guy started talking to me. And I kept shaking it, and I started shaking it closer to his face, and it was just annoying him. And then he just like did one of these to try hit it out of the way, and he was just like, pop, right fucking in the mouth. And I was like, oh my god, I can't believe you hit me. And then I was just like it hurt, but not enough to like cry about it. I was like, oh my god, I can't believe you hit me.
I have to podcast tonight. This is my moneymaker.
I was like, everybody's going to see it. And then I was like, why would you do that? He's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, Dale. Oh my God, I didn't mean to. Then I was like, I'm going to tell the boss. He's like, oh my God. So it's basically, I was fucking around, annoying my coworker. He swatted at me, hit me in the mouth, and then I did the, I'm going to go tell mom on you. And then he was like, no, don't do that. You can hit me in the face too to get even. I was like, yeah, right. Then I'll have a sore face and a sore hand because your head is made of rocks. I'm definitely not punching you. And then whatever, we're fine. And then back to like the being little boys thing. I was working on something else. And then he comes up, he's like, Bill, come look at this giant bug I found. So he comes and gets me, and we go, and we're like walking to the back of the parking lot, and he's like, you got to see this bug. It looks like a cockroach, but it's so huge. And we're like kind of walking, and then I'm like, you're not walking me back here to show me your dick, are you? Like, hey, look at this big bug, and then just pull it out.
I got a tattoo on my dick. Want to see it?
And the best part is he's like 50, so he is not down with dick jokes at all. And he's all like weirded out. He's like, no, I just want to show you a bug.
You ever think you'll be too old for dick jokes? No.
Me, but I don't know. Something happened to me where I partitioned my persona inside my deep subconscious, where part of me just stopped aging, and that's where all my humor lives, is the part that's just still a child. So anyways, we find this rock, and this bug, and it turns out that it was like, I think it was a giant water bug. So it was like this big. I'll post a picture of it in the comments after we're done.
I'm sure everyone is dying.
Look through my phone.
I'm still waiting to see the mask teeny or whatever, Corona teeny.
It's in the comments. You just have to scroll up. I put a link to it.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah. That'll just derail the podcast even further. So anyways, I took this bug. It was dead. And I put it in this guy's toolbox. Of course, I had to pick. I was like, oh, that guy's big and tough. He's this like proud 24-year-old. And I was like, oh, he's totally going to hate it. He comes.
How are you employed? Like, you understand there's a global recession happening right now, and like 50% of people suddenly find themselves unemployed. And you're like, how can I be the dumb fuck at work and still maintain a job?
I am just trying to lighten everybody's mood so that we can get through this pandemic together.
True.
So it in his box and he freaks out, and it was great. And that was just further me being a little boy at work. And like you said, yeah, maybe I probably shouldn't be fucking around all day at work, but I actually still build stuff, so it's fine.
All right.
Yeah, I can't even deny that I'm a 12-year-old, like Sam said.
It works for you, though.
Yeah.
It keeps you young, except for your dick, which, again, is 80 years old.
My 80-year-old dick.
All right, everyone. Hey, thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Outrage Factory. I have been your co-host, Derek Bolin. You can follow me on the Twitter machine at herder.
My name is Dale DeRuiter. You can find me on the Twitter machine at SuperDalebot.
You can find us, which is actually just Dale, on Twitter at OutrageFactPod, or Facebook at facebook.com/OutrageFactPod.
I do not post dick jokes on the actual Outrage Factory Twitter, so that's probably the most mature you'll find me, which isn't that mature.
Still not very, but it's a step above what he is in real life.
Yeah, it's a lot better than my Twitter.
Wherever you find your podcast, please rate, review, and subscribe. If you really like the podcast, please tell your friends about us or share this video or the link to the podcast on your social media and talk about how fucking great we and our opinions are. What up?
I wanted to bring up the Patreon because originally when was that last episode we were talking, or the first episode we streamed, somebody wanted us to talk about Tiger King. So we said, if you give money to the Patreon, we'll talk about Tiger King. And then the next episode, I was like, hey, that was fun. We should do it again. So Paul said to watch Intelligence. And I think I watched like 6 episodes of it, and it's really good. So if anybody has any suggestions that they would like either me or Derek to watch on either Netflix, Disney Plus, or
don't put me in on this bullshit. I'm not
okay, fine. I'll do it. If you have something that you want me to watch that isn't reality TV, because I don't watch that shit.
Too Hot to Handle.
No, I'm not watching that.
Oh, but dude.
Dude.
Is that they're all really good looking and horny, but they can't fuck.
Oh, so it's all the people I hated when I was their age because they're all better looking than me and having more sex than me. Yeah, I totally want to watch that.
Now you get to get your revenge because they can't have sex either.
Wait, do they have 80-year-old dicks too?
I don't know. I haven't seen them yet.
Anyway, so you don't have to give to the Patreon. Just give me suggestions on something to watch and I'll watch it. It's just something to get you further involved in the podcast.
Yeah.
And then I'll talk about it and Derek will get pissed off and tell me I shouldn't talk about it.
Unless it's too hot to handle and we can talk about how all those beautiful people aren't fucking at all.
Just quit talking about this. Or actually, how many of Too Hot to Handle have you watched? Because that's like trending #1 right now, isn't it?
I watched the first 3 episodes.
Yeah. But you really like that kind of like dating reality shit. Like you like The Bachelor and The Bachelorette, right?
And the trashier and dumber it is, the more I love it. Like,
yeah, I saw the preview for it. Are they all like, some of them had accents? Is this like a UK based show?
No, there's a girl from Vancouver on it. There's a couple British people. There's an Australian person. Aaron just said Love is Blind, which is another really fucking...
I'm not watching that either.
Oh, dude, it was so good.
Reality TV, I don't want to watch that.
Yeah, but it's like we've hit the point now where reality TV has been around long enough that they're like, how can we take reality TV and make it just like the most bizarre, like mind-blowing bullshit ever? Like people getting married after they've like never even seen what each other looks like. Like that's dope.
That sounds dumb.
It's like reality TV is now just like this like social experiment one-upmanship where it's like, how can we put people in the most bizarre situations and see what happens?
Yeah, I'm not watching. Oh, actually, I did start watching Black AF, which is a very good show. If I don't think anybody watched Blackish, but it's like the creator of Blackish started his own show that is based on his own personal life, but it's actually really funny. It's like he's a lot like fucking, who's the guy from Curb Your Enthusiasm?
Larry David.
Yeah, he's like a lot like a super rich, flashy Larry David. Like he's all like neurotic and like talking to himself and like gets in these dumb situations. But it's really good. And did we miss anything?
No, I think that's it. Until next week, stay happy, healthy, and
angry. Is it done?